Hi, welcome to Finding the Word. I'm Melanie Brown. Today's word is neighbor, and I have to tell you, it's really late. It's really late at night, and I knew it was going to be a late word today. And I always feel like I have to warn you when it's late because I feel like I'm a little off whenever it's really late at night, and that you're over there going, what's wrong with her? You may not even be doing that at all. It just feels like it. I feel subconscious about it. So it's always like I have to let you know, hey, just in case you're wondering, it's really late at night. So it's one of those times. And I knew it was going to be. And this is how neighbor came, because this was not the original word. And it's always interesting to me how I'll have the word and think this is what it is, and then stuff happens, and then I realize the Spirit goes, there it is. I need you to go look for this. So that's how it went today. And neighbor came because earlier Lily was telling me how they had stopped off after they got their keys. They were just taking care of some things and stuff, and they saw that an older gentleman was outside, and they're like, oh, I think that might be a neighbor. And Lily's like, hi, and being friendly, and he didn't respond. So she said, she was like, oh, did he see me? Like, maybe he didn't see me, And so I always give the benefit of the doubt. It's like who I am. I don't know how to not do that. And so sometimes people will just be looking at me like, really? You're reaching. I don't know. Maybe, though. You should never assume. That's how I feel. So I was like, he might have really bad sight. You said he was older. He may not have even seen you good. Like, maybe she was like, that's probably true, Mom. I was like, also, he's older. He could have dementia. In this case, he would not even have known necessarily that you were waving at him. She's like, that is true. I said, now see. So she said, well, I plan on baking, and I was going to take some stuff over, like just being neighborly after he gets settled. I said, oh my God, girl, now that is so nice. And more than likely, even if it is something, whatever, even if he's a little unfriendly, I am sure that kind of loving gesture, it'll just be a whole different situation. So she's like, yeah. Well, so had a lovely day. Great time. Yes, it was hot. It was hard work, sweating and everything, but it just went well. And even a couple of people from their church, a few people actually came by and helped, and it was nice to meet them. They were really nice. It was just a nice time. Oh, made pizzas and brought them over. And okay, so it's late. It was about 10 o'clock after they had left, and I'm getting in the car, and I see a piece of paper on the windshield. Wave to the grandbabies and everything. And I'm cranking the car, and I'm like, why is there paper under the windshield? Then I thought, well, now I know we're too far out somewhere for anybody to be talking about any parties that are going on. Then I was like, maybe somebody's got a business. And I'm taking it off and thinking that they're advertising maybe their business. No. This is the neighbor. Maybe the other neighbor. I got to find out from him if it was the same neighbor. Kind of hoping it's the same neighbor. Because if it's both sides. But the paper said, don't block my drive. Okay. Understand? Thanks. And I was like, ooh, do I detect a tone? I think I'm hearing a tone in this sentences here. And I was like, this is not good. If this is the other neighbor, one of them didn't even speak, and the other one is writing funky notes. And the thing about it is, like, people are moving. You see U-Hauls and everything out here. They're just getting here. And we were not blocking the driveway. So that was really just like, oh, this was just so not called for. You haven't even introduced yourself or met anybody, and this is your note. So I was like, well, and I almost was just like, hey, y'all. But then I was like, no, I'm going to keep this. This has been a nice, lovely day. There's no reason to go bringing notes out, making things sour and ending on sour notes. It's going great. I'm going to leave. We're going to end it with this and leave it at that. And so tomorrow, though, I'll probably mention to them, hey, the neighbors don't want you to block their driveway. So be careful. But there really just isn't any reason to block the driveway. So it's kind of a sad thing. And I'm thinking, what's happened to the neighbors? Why are people not neighborly? They used to be a little better than that. We have been fortunate enough to have decent neighbors. For the most part, really good, and a couple that were just fantastic. So I know they're definitely out there, and I know my daughter and son want to be very good neighbors and be neighborly. So I'm really hopeful for that. The scripture I have for neighbor is Romans 13:8. I'm reading 8 through 10. Owe nothing to anyone except for your obligation to love one another. If you love your neighbor, you will fulfill the requirements of God's law. For the commandments say, you must not commit adultery, you must not murder, you must not steal, you must not covet. These and other such commandments are summed up in this one commandment: love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no wrong to others, so love fulfills the requirements of God's law. And loving your neighbor as yourself is what we're required to do. It is what I know that they want to do within themselves. And of course, our neighbors are all of those that we are, encounter and come across, that we are sharing, honestly, not just the neighborhood, but the earth with. And they are people that came there, from church, don't live terribly far away. So they're considering themselves neighbors now. They're excited about that. So I'm sure they'll have really good times and be blessed to be able to be nearby to one another. And I am very hopeful that the neighbors they do have will be kind, because sometimes the enemy will have stuff to look at a certain way just to get you started off badly. So it is really a good idea for us to think the best of one another. I will say the most difficulty I have with this is when people mistreat my children. I mean, I have to fight to be decent with that one. I'm pretty good about just handling like, okay, you're kind of rude to me or whatever. It's like, I don't really care. But say something to my children or cross them or be rude, I struggle with that. I can admit to it. God knows I do. So it's like, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt over there. But I don't care how old they are as my babies, my grandbabies. And if anything is really just kind of, Gigi might have to be knocking on doors. And I'm just like, and trying to get to the bottom of things. And I'm hopeful that, we'll be hearing good news. And I am sure that love will prevail. So be a good neighbor. And don't forget to find the word, and I will see you tomorrow.